Good day, everyone. I am your discussant for today, Elia Kim Consuelo, towards your journey on Chapter 4, The Principles of Art Design. So, our learning objectives for today is first to acquire the ability to perceive harmonious combination of lines, forms, sizes, textures, ideas, and colors. So, basically, it is all about how we judge by ourselves a certain masterpiece based on the different elements that will be discussed later on. And then to acquire the ability to perceive, recognize, and make balanced composition. So, meaning to say, it is how we look based on our own perspective or how we interpret a certain artwork. Third is to acquire the activity to make rhythm arrangement. So when we say rhythm arrangement, it is not only applied within music or auditory artworks. So rhythm can also be seen and observed within visual arts. And then to acquire the ability to make pleasing proportions in margins, space divisions, and the selection and arrangement of objects. So it will all be under the harmony of ideas. And then to acquire the ability to select and arrange objects for emphasis on how we highlight a certain masterpiece based on the element it possesses. And lastly, to appreciate beautiful compositions or designs. The reason why we have art appreciation. Before we start, I have a few definition of terms here for you to understand the lesson better. So first, we have the perception of an art. So this principle guide the artist in making his art more beautiful and interesting to the observers. So from the term itself, perception, it is an act of viewing or looking at a specific object using your own perception or within your own perception. It is how you visualize an art. It is how you judge an art considering its different elements. We have the combination of lines, colors, and forms. So an artist can give the observer new, varied, and satisfying experience. So if an artwork is harmonized in terms of lines, colors, and forms, and even in style, it will look pleasant or pleasing through the eyes of the audience. Next, we have the design. Design is the overall organizational visual structure of the formal element in a work of art. Another thing, design is what makes an art unique. So it is always important to consider your design using your own imagination or the way you want your art to be perceived. Next is harmony. So harmony is the quality which produces an impression of unity through the arrangement of consistent objects or ideas. So from the word itself, harmony, it speaks about uniformity and unity. Then we have balance. Balance is the quality of art which gives a feeling of rest, repose, equilibrium, and stability. So balance, it is all about equilibrium or equality. Okay, equality. Next, we have proportion. Proportion is the quality of an art which shows pleasing relationship between a whole and its parts and among the parts themselves. So that is proportion. What is the difference between balance and proportion? Balance refers to the equilibrium of an artwork as a whole, while proportion focuses on the different parts of the artworks that makes it as a whole, and then those parts, once those parts balances each other, that is when proportion takes place. Okay, so balance speaks as a whole, while proportion speaks on every parts of an artwork. Rhythm. So rhythm is the regular, uniform, or related movement made through the repetition of a unit or motif. So just like what I mentioned earlier, rhythm is not only applied through music, okay, or multimedia arts, but also it can be applied through visual arts. So if rhythm in music makes a song pleasant to hear, then rhythm in visual arts makes an artwork pleasant to see. Emphasis. Emphasis is the quality of an art which tends to carry the eyes from the center of interest or dominant part of any composition to the less important or subordinate parts. So basically, emphasis is the one that highlights which element is under the limelight within a certain art. And also, it is the one that showcase the uniqueness about a specific arts compared to the other artworks. Now let us jump on our core topic, the principles of art designs. First one is harmony. Harmony is the principle which produces an impression of unity through the selection and arrangement of consistent objects or ideas. So it is all about consistency. Actually, we have 5 aspects of harmony. The first one is the harmony of lines and shapes. The second one is the harmony of size. The third one is the harmony of color. The fourth one is the texture. And lastly, the harmony of idea. We have here an example of harmony of lines and shapes. So, lines are made harmonious by either repeating the shape of the lines or by connecting transitional lines to contrasting lines. A transitional line or merely transition is usually a curved, graceful line which connects two opposing or contrasting lines. So basically, transitional lines are the one that blends or soften edges within lines. And then the latter are straight lines which intersect each other and form angles. Okay, so lines made in this manner are called contrasting or opposing lines. So contrasting or opposing lines are horizontal and vertical lines. They meet at a 90-degree angle and they create a hard edge or a client with strong personality. We also have another 4 types of lines here. Okay, so contradiction, strictly speaking, is a form of transition, but because it is not harmonious, it may be classified under the lines in contrast. So contradiction is a straight line connecting two opposing lines diagonally or slant in a slant manner. It is located on letter C. The figure on letter C. And then if a small rectangle is placed within a bigger rectangle so that their sides are parallel, the resulting figure is an example of repetition. So repetition is on the figure or the figure on letter A. So that is an example of repetition. And then repetition shows harmony, of course. Rugs and large furniture should therefore follow the lines of the room. Okay, so the letter B figure or the figure on letter B, which is the contrasting lines, are the vertical and the horizontal lines that opposes each other. And lastly, the transitional line that softens edges. Next, we have the harmony of size. So as you can see here in our figure, there are different sizes of rectangles placed within a bigger rectangle. But if you can observe, those small rectangles are still in unity, right? They are still pleasant to see. It is because these rectangles are harmonized. Harmony of size refers to good proportion. Next, we have the harmony of color. So we have another example here, as you can see. Actually, creating harmony of color means using 2 or more colors. And always remember that creating a harmonized color combination does not always mean that you have to mix it. And then we also have the harmony of texture. Based on our figure, the first one looks rough and edgy, while the second one is like a silk, which is soft and smooth. So these are examples of harmony in texture. So the character of texture can be determined by feeling the object with our fingertips or by just looking at it. Okay? So coarse textures or rough textures, always remember this, must not be combined with fine or soft textures. We have the harmony of idea. So let us take a look on our two pictures here. The first one is designed in a modern style, while the second one is designed in a cottagecore style. So these are two types of interior design. So in terms of harmony of idea, combining antique and modern furniture in the same room does not show harmony of idea. A store window displaying dresses, hardware, and school supplies would be a very poor display. So always remember that you have to organize the thoughts within your artwork. If you prefer it to be a bit minimalist, then you must refrain using a lot of details and vague colors. But if you prefer it to be more noticeable, then you can use bright colors and refrain from using plain or pale colors. So that is all about the principle of harmony. The next two, which will be the rhythm and balance, will be discussed by Miss Kyla Marie Angela Carranza. Thank you for listening.